Hi, welcome to another video. I am here with my support cat Butters. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. I meant to turn the camera around and it won't, so here's Butters. Yeah, he's not really an emotional support cat. He's just my favorite. We have 5. Today I'm going to talk about BPD again. This time it's going to be the 9 symptoms of it. Everybody with BPD has these tendencies, but much like, say, with breeds of dogs, you've got your German Shepherd, your Chihuahua, your Collie, a Poodle. They're all very different, but they're all still dogs. So with BPD, the expression of the disorder is different from person to person. There's no set, they all do this. But the 9 symptoms are pretty much there. And you'll have to excuse me for looking down because I'm looking at my notes. Because I wanted to make sure to say stuff. So number 1 is sensation seeking. That would be being promiscuous, doing drugs, shopping sprees, binge eating, or involving yourself in reckless behavior like extreme sports, aggressive driving, shoplifting, basically a lot of things that would require someone to say, hey, hold my beer. That is sensation seeking. It's the impulse to do something that you shouldn't do, that is probably not a great idea. It's gonna cause problems. The second one is self-harm. And self-harm, a lot of people with BPD will cut, but some of us don't do that. Self-harm is when you're doing something that is harmful to you and you know it's harmful to you, but you choose to do it. Some people self-harm in more of an abstract way, which is to smoke. You smoke cigarettes. They're bad for you. You know that they can cause cancer, and we do it anyway. Having unprotected sex, that is a way. It's kind of an odd way to self-harm. It's not like I cut myself, I burn myself with cigarettes, I would even go as far as to say that getting tattoos and piercings is a way of doing self-harm, because those things it's not like getting a massage, to most people. They are poking your skin with needles. It's pain inducing. So it is self-harm, except you don't have a scar, you've got a tattoo. But it's still the same thing that you're seeking there, is to feel pain. And it's pain that, this is my take on it, it's pain that you control. That's the main thing. We all feel pain. We don't like we don't want our arm broke. We're not likely to actually break something, because that is pain that you don't control. But cutting is controllable. Number 3 is roller coaster emotions. This one can be a little harder to pick up on for somebody who is a quiet borderline, but the moods, the emotions are there. They're just not as obvious. So this one is really hard to see on some people. And the roller coaster emotions also, people with bipolar have roller coaster emotions. Number 4 is explosiveness, and I look at that as the same as the roller coaster emotions that if you're quiet borderline, those things are not going to be so obvious in you that people aren't worried about you losing your shit. But trust me, we're worried about losing our shit. Oh, this is Lexi behind me. She is not a emotional support animal either, but she really likes me. So she's in a lot of my videos because she's normally somewhere around my bedroom, hiding. That was my hand. See, she'll come after my hand. She's sitting here bopping my hand. She's like, pet me. Okay, I'm off topic. So, number 5 is worries about abandonment. And, that's the whole cliched, I hate you, don't leave me. We're always afraid of people leaving us. And that can manifest itself either in a person being clingy, or it can manifest itself in a person who says, well, they're going to leave me anyway, so I may as well just not engage, not put myself out there. And, there's a lot of stuff that comes with that. And we tend to, this isn't me, but I do know a lot of people with BPD who have this need to check on their loved ones because they're pretty sure that person's going to find somebody better. I always said, I remember thinking this when I was younger, and I think that this speaks to my worry about abandonment, which is, I used to say, they always say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Well, I always said absence makes me lose my boyfriend. So that was always a big concern, that if somebody I was dating went on a trip, they were not going to be my boyfriend when they came back, because that's what would happen. And so I would be worried about it. Number 6 is unclear and unstable self-concept. People with borderline personality disorder wear a lot of masks. And when I say masks, the easiest way to notice this is to take a particular person. Now, you see them with one group of friends, and they're one way. And then you see them with another group of friends, and they are like a completely different person. That's because we are trying so hard to blend in to whatever group we're with, that we do essentially become somebody different. We become who we think they want us to be. We become who we think fits in to the group we're in. So it's a mask, people would see me when I was younger and I would work and I'd have a boyfriend or whatever. They'd see me at work and say, wow, you are completely different around your coworkers than you are around me. And I was like, yeah, also, I had gotten accused when I was a teen. I actually got accused of having one of these psycho pen pal boyfriends I had. He accused me of having somebody else write letters to him because my handwriting would change all the time. I mean, I don't think forensically it would have changed, but he would say that I had to have had somebody else write it, that it couldn't have been me because the handwriting was completely different, and it was me writing it. It would just depend on the day, and occasionally, even with my handwriting, like I'll see somebody else's handwriting and I'll try to incorporate that into mine if I see something that I like in theirs. And I think that's what we all try to do, is we see something that we think is right and we want to mimic that, because we don't really, that's why when someone leaves us, we don't know who to be. Because I mean, even though essentially you feel like you are yourself, so much of who you are is derived from the company that you keep. And when you don't have friends and you don't have family and you're just by yourself, you don't know. I mean, you know who you are, but you don't know who you are. Because so much of who we are depends on the situation we're in. It's who do I want to be? Um, Number 7 is emptiness. Uh, I call it the big empty. It's where you just don't feel, you're not mad, sad. I mean, you're just nothing. There is nothing. It and this is the emptiness, the big empty is normally one of the things that really kicks us into self-harm, because the big empty makes you want to feel something, because you feel nothing. um it it is it is horrible. And when you cut or pierce or tattoo, I can't say with smoking it's so much, but I mean, I guess when you're smoking, you feel like you're doing something. You feel something for it. It's just not as, it's not as keen as like actually doing harm to yourself. That kind of thing. I mean, when I'm in the big empty, if I scratch on a scab, because I also have excoriation disorder, I'll scratch on a scab, and for some reason, like, I can feel the blood leaving, and I'll focus on that. Like, I'll actually watch it. And some weird, crazy thing. But that's the desire to do that is bigger during the big empty. Number 8 is up and down relationships. Now, I can say I've been in a relationship for 20 years, going on 21 years. So it's not impossible to have a stable relationship. My relationship is stable. So it's not impossible, but I do know, like, a lot of people that have the disorder, they get into a lot of fights. There's a lot of passionate fighting. There's a lot of yelling and screaming and I hate you, and they're broke up, they're back together again, and a lot of times when you're outside of the relationship and you're looking at it, it's like, okay, you two are so bad for each other. Y'all are horrible for each other. So sometimes that's what it ends up with. But the thing is like with BPD, we have this idea that we deserve crap. So as much as we can see that a person is bad for us, we're still like really, really pulled into that, because even though we know it's bad for us, once again, you're into the self-harm that it's bad for me, but I want it, because it makes you feel. It's drama. And drama is something that we don't want, but we kind of live when it's happening. It's a really weird thing. Number 9 is disassociation, or feeling out of touch with reality. And when I disassociate, there's a lot of different things about disassociating, but I've noticed when I disassociate, like, if I'm walking around, I will feel like I am just the eyeballs in my head. Like, I can't feel any part of my body. I'm not there. I'm just kind of like watching, like I'm on virtual reality, I'm just looking. Some people will disassociate, and actually forget things. Like, they'll lose bits of time. Now, not that they'll lose bits of time like a person with DID or multiple personalities. They'll lose time like they'll be looking at something and then realize it's 3 hours later and they haven't moved. It's just like they're shut down for a little while. Kind of like when you're driving and you think to yourself, well, I don't remember actually driving here. I mean, I know I did, but you don't like remember it. You were on like autopilot. Well, that's kind of how a disassociative episode is you are on autopilot and you don't realize that all that time's going by. But it's not that you're doing stuff that you don't remember doing. You're just sitting there and time's going by because you're locked up in here somewhere. Now, this isn't in the 9 symptoms, but I think it has to do with at least one of the 9 symptoms, but I don't think I touched on it. And it's black and white thinking. The statement, I hate you, don't leave me. That's kind of black and white. We either love somebody or we hate them. My dad was so black and white thinking. He would get something. It could be an as seen on TV. It could be a game for his computer or whatever. And the day he'd get it, he'd be so excited about it. It's the best thing ever. And I love this. The next day, it's a piece of shit that why would somebody make something that's so worthless as that? That is black and white thinking. And the thing is like the people that, when, and a lot of times we do this with people, they're either all good or all bad. And it's something that you have to be conscious of, because otherwise you will throw people away who just didn't meet your expectations. And what are your expectations? Our expectations are that they will react the way we think they should act, or they will do what we think they should do. So it's hard to stay on that pedestal. It's easy as hell to fall off of it for us. And it is something that is very big with BPD, and especially when we turn it on ourselves, that I'm either a failure or I'm fucking awesome. And the thing is it doesn't matter what you do, that person who's got you in the black thinking, if you've fallen off the pedestal, it takes some time before they calm the fuck down and realize I was expecting something. We let it go is what it is. We'll let it go. Like sometime between us getting mad at somebody and then falling off the pedestal, we'll have a dream, or we'll think about something, and then all of a sudden that person's back on the pedestal again. Till we get tired. There's a certain point where everybody gets tired. Once I try not to, I don't go to those extremes so much with people outside of me. I do that with myself, that everything has to be a certain way with work I do and everything. And I've been known to hold things up because everything's got to be just so with certain things. So because I can't handle anything less than perfect for it. Now when it comes to somebody else doing it, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be right. Like the way these people load up my dishwasher drives me insane, because they don't do it right. But they don't have to do it perfect, because see, I do it perfect, but they just have to make sure that everything gets hit. But my black and white, I don't expect people to live up to my expectations. I expect myself to live up to my expectations. Like I said, I'm a quiet borderline. I'm internal. So that was the 9 symptoms of borderline personality disorder. Obviously, you cannot diagnose yourself. You can diagnose yourself, but you can't really say that that's what you've got until a psychiatrist actually says this is what you have. But those are some symptoms of it. Now, I can tell you straight up that I think that those nine symptoms are also symptoms of bipolar. I don't know about the dissociation, but I know that the two conditions are very similar. That's why I'm saying, if you're lucky, you're bipolar and they can get you medicated and you can be totally okay. If you're borderline, they can get you medicated and you can be somewhat okay. Otherwise, it's like this whole get the right therapy and do the work. And, sometimes you just don't want to do the work. It's so easy to just take a pill. But until they figure out how to fix us, we're stuck with pills to take care of the accompanying disorders, because BPD rarely travels alone. It's got its own little codependent friends. Depression and anxiety are typically the ones it hangs with the most. So, lucky me. Have a good night.